Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Piper, the head of marketing at Upodi. Hello.
Hello, Christian.
It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. At first, for people that don't know yet, what is Upodi?
So Upodi is a subscription management software, and it's so using for any company that wants to scale a subscription business model. It's a fully automated setup built on a recurring billing engine, and was first built in 2017 and has been reiterated since.
What do you see is the biggest problem that the product solves?
Well, there's two main things that it solves. We can say it solves the problem of scaling at high volume. So when you run a subscription business, you have the product package that people are subscribed to, customers are subscribed to, and then you have the payment methods, and that's in a recurring setup. So a recurring payment is issued and then charged, and the issue can be that you scale to different markets, different currencies, different tax laws, and that can become a real issue. If there's any manual processing, any change of customer information, any change of subscription product, any add-on, then you're going to reach some problems. So the scaling is one of the things, and that's also the processing time it takes on the actual server itself. So having software that can do this automatically and not kill a whole batch. Traditionally, this is done in batches of 500, something like this, and that can be very processor intensive. So this solves that problem. And then the other thing that the Upodi platform offers is the full automation, the automation of that process from a subscription sign-up all the way through changing your payment information, switching product, creating an add-on, and then if there's a problem with the payment, moving into something called dunning, which is the chance to recharge for the same subscription or move into a debt collection process.
And what would you say are the top 3 most loved features by our customers, or the most used?
I would say the top 3 are the customizable integration through the API, so it just fits into whatever product you've built. The automation primarily. So you just you set up your subscriptions and then they just go, and you it's almost like a black box, right? You don't see it, you just get the insights, and then finally the live data insights that you get on subscription performance and so on, and how you can then analyze churn based on that.
And what is the pricing for your product?
Yeah, so the pricing starts at around just under 800 euros per month, and that's if you have between 1,000 to 5,000 customers, and then if you're moving into the 25,000 plus, then you're starting at around 2,000 euro or 1,939, as we have on the website. And then, of course, if you're going up, into your hundreds of thousands, it's a speed to sales amount.
Of course. And usually, what are your customers? Only SaaS companies, right?
So actually, we have customers in most subscription businesses. So we have challenger banks like Luna, which is well known in the Nordics. They're selling banking services on subscription for both B2C and B2B. We have Goodiebox, which is one of the largest luxury box deliveries, package box deliveries that you get. Then we have SaaS companies like Synergy, which is doing your payroll. And then we have streaming services like Nordisk Film Plus, which is a niche streaming that you can have alongside your Netflix or your Disney Plus. And so these kind of companies, any company that's doing that, so physical products like with Goodiebox, digital products, media products, all of those. And then we also do automated invoicing, customers who just use the recurring billing engine part of our solution. And then that's companies like Numbers in the Netherlands.
Yeah. I think that's a great feature to have. And how do you describe the market? How competitive is it? And how is Upodi different?
Yeah, so the market is still an emerging market. Established subscription companies have normally a home-built solution, and then in the US, it's more developed. There are more suppliers of a cloud solution.
Okay.
Um, and there are a few players in Europe. We're primarily focused on the European market,
Mm-hmm.
and we're a few. I think we're about five or six. So we're not that many really. But it's I think it's moving from being blue ocean to being a mixed ocean at this point. But it's a technical. It's quite a technical product in that sense, and the number of stakeholders involved is a fair number. So you've got those considerations to go through as well, and a lot of different views about. I still hear queries about on-prem and cloud. Those arguments are continuing in this space as well.
Wow.
So if any enterprise level SaaS software, I think it's similar to that.
And can you expand on the company story? How did it start, and what's behind it?
Yeah, so the founder is Rasmus Fogh. He's based in Aarhus, which is a city in Denmark. He's a previous Microsoft alumni,
Mm-hmm.
and they were trying to figure this out in Microsoft. How to do this recurring billing and subscription management at high volume, and it was more of a challenge. It was more complicated,
Right.
when you're creating that subscription, you've got the ones that you're charging in arrears, the ones you're charging up front, then switching, then you have the different times, the different calendars, and then the tax rules and so on, like I mentioned before. So all of this, before you know it, something that should be very simple, same amount, same time of the month, suddenly got quite complicated. And so Rasmus started the company and got some seed round investment, and then the first iterations of the company were primarily selling to Denmark, and just building that first version of the platform, open to anyone running a subscription business, getting the first ones on, who just selling dog food and things like this, and then moving into larger clients like Luna Bank and Goodiebox, who have been our customers for several years now, and then built the brand up, and a good team, an eager team. Then the company grew, and until about over obviously. Up until 2019. Then, of course, we had COVID, but the company continued to grow. And then
Okay.
in 2021, Upodi was acquired by Visma, the Norwegian-based conglomerate, and we became part of the Visma family. And that's when I joined. I joined shortly after the acquisition by Visma.
Okay.
And today we are a premium subscription management solution. So really catering for those high volume number of subscriptions and solving those problems. Whereas before we were doing also for smaller, but it's not really. Our technology is too powerful for most of them these days.
Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate the transparency. And now you're full focused on Apodi, right? No work with Visma.
So we're part of Visma. So we're actually the only subscription management solution that Visma has acquired. Visma normally acquires accounting systems, ERP, payroll systems, and so on. Visma actually has over 400 companies in their portfolio, and we're one of them. And so we're now based in Copenhagen, Denmark, and in Aarhus in Denmark, and selling European-wide with the exceptional client overseas.
And how big is the team? just focused on
Yeah.
Upodi?
So for Upodi, we're actually quite a small team. We're currently 13. Half of those are developers.
Mm-hmm.
So we run quite a light operation. But of course, then we have access to different services within Visma
Right.
and so on. So we have sort of sister relations and sister companies.
And what do you say is the most successful go-to-market strategy for finding new clients?
Yeah, so back to that, right? So as it's a still a bit of a blue ocean, there's quite an education journey for most of our stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're seeing in terms of go to market is to educate the market on the new technologies and the new ways of doing things. Often there is this looking backwards rather than looking forwards, looking at how things have been done and protecting legacy systems. We did it this way because of this security setup, because of this integration, and often it's not the most efficient way of doing things, and it's not the safest way of doing things. So there's an education element to that. So future-facing technology built to integrate with AI, for example, that's built upon good data maturity for those businesses that are working in that way. And then the other element is just reaching out and contacting people. The classic
Yeah.
exercise of using an outbound team. So using a combination of go-to-market for us, built upon an educational journey.
What is your biggest challenge since joining?
Yeah, the biggest challenge I would say since joining has been the migration of some of our largest customers over to our newest technology. And the challenge in that, it's a lot of work, just making sure before you do a big data migration that that everything is working correctly. But it's also been one of the most successful things that we've done. So it's one of the things I think I'm most proud about with the company is that we've been able to migrate huge data sets, and then we've also been able to import from our new customers and migrate huge data sets from existing data sets over with no corruption, no loss, as you'd expect. So that's a really strong area for us, and obviously so important for any business. And then I'd say the other big challenge has been just learning the new culture. Becoming part of Visma. Understanding that we were a scale up before, startup scale up before. Now we're part
Yes.
of a bigger organization, and yeah, just those learnings, and then of course with that some changes as well. Some people leaving, new people arriving, and so on. So there's sort of the
I appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah. How does your day-to-day or week look like as the head of marketing there?
Yeah, so my day to day is focused on three areas. So it's focused on the lead generation through marketing activities. It's focused on branding and education awareness, and then it's working closely with sales. And so my day to day will be checking how the campaigns are doing. Of course, like every marketer here, looking at those insights, seeing if there's any adjustments, seeing if there's been any interesting sales meetings, and then aligning also with if in the week with our product team in looking at how product development is going and trends in the market. So that's my day to day is quite a lot of collaboration with different parts of the business, and then
Mm-hmm.
feeding quite a lot of insights back in. It's exciting time because on the B2C side, subscription businesses, you've got certain industries which are in highly developed and competitive. So most people are aware of the streaming wars between all the big streaming providers. So that's an interesting one to watch and then see how that's playing out and how it can influence other areas of the business or other industries that are using a subscription model but are not selling media, they're selling something else. but perhaps is starting to heat up in terms of investment and competition. So feeding those insights, watching those trends is definitely part of my day to day as well.
Sounds great. And what is your vision for the future, or for the future of the company?
Yeah, so with the pedigree of the product, the vision for Upodi is to be, the go-to provider of subscription management for enterprise and high volume subscription companies. That's the vision of the company, and enabling that for all types of industry. It's very simple. It's
Sound.
from that point of view.
Yes.
But as everyone knows, making a good simple solution that's customizable, it takes a lot of work.
Absolutely. I'll know your story and how you started your career. Let's say just after high school or college.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I started out in the creative industry, and then I was originally from Scotland in the UK, and then I moved to Denmark about 16 years ago, so the end of the 2010s.
Okay.
And then took another education in business and media, and I got into the web, into the beginning of making applications for smartphones and mobile websites and all of these sorts of things, and then found myself working more with tech companies. Had my own agency for 3 years, and just ended up moving into marketing and branding with this UX point of view, with this user experience, working with a diverse group of colleagues from business to development to creative, and then also worked down in Germany for a while as well, with a startup down there in Munich, and I've been based in Copenhagen now 6 years. I'm working with SaaS companies in document automation and payment automation, billing automation, and so on. So I made a bit of a coming into this world from a slightly different career than I think most start. Most go to business school and come in that way, but mine's
Right.
a little more alternative.
So what would be your best piece of advice for somebody that's looking to get into the marketing industry or the software industry?
Okay, so my advice right now would be, if you're looking to get into the marketing industry right now, it's still what it's always been about. It's understanding the people and understanding the product. And that isn't going to change. The tools will change as the technology develops, but that's the core. And you need to just make sure you're always focusing on that. Do I understand the audience? Do I understand the people? And do I understand the product? And can I always put those two things together so that it results in awareness, results in interest, and results in sales? So that's my advice there. There are lots of podcasts out there, but don't get too caught up on different technologies. Now with AI coming in, we can see, but you still need to be able to judge, is this piece of content good if it's AI generated? Is it really working with my audience? And knowing when to use certain tools. So context is key. Regarding software, I think having some understanding of coding is very beneficial. Just so you know what the products are, you have a better understanding of the products. And of course, now the model has changed. We're looking for SaaS companies to be cash flow positive, and so an understanding of a solid business is helpful as well. So understanding how software is sold and how good software is developed, I think, follow those companies. Look at companies like Pleo and see how they've developed, and then if you're thinking of entering this industry, see where you might fit into that. And the other thing about software companies is they're quite open. So if you reach out to someone on LinkedIn and just say, I'm interested, they'll
Yes,
probably start a conversation with you. So that would be my advice.
that's a great one, and Plio is a great example. I like them as well. So yeah, thank you so much for that. I have one last question for you today. What would be your best or favorite software that you'd recommend to other people, but apart from Upodi?
So yeah, what I'm enjoying right now is HubSpot. I think they're on a good development. They have as a marketer, I think they've got some good features. You can do a lot with them, and they've improved the platform over the last 5 years. So I think that's one. I mean, of course, there are different analytics platforms that we could talk about, but that's the one I'd say is probably the one I'm enjoying the most, because it very rarely gives me any trouble, and that's nice. And yet it can handle a lot of complexity.
Is there anything else that you want to tell us today on the podcast?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk on the Tekpon podcast, and great questions from you. And I just wish everyone a really good 2024, to be honest, and hope that any of the things I've mentioned here is helpful. And of course, if you are interested in the subscription business, or you're going to start up using that model, then come to our website, check out some of our blogs. People can reach out to me as well. That's pretty much everything.
Thank you so much. My buddy did fantastic. Thank
Super.
you.